Good afternoon, everyone. So today my presentation will cover what is concurrent training and what are the effects of it and how much should you do it, and also basically summing up whether athletes and also the general public should do concurrent training or not. Concurrent training is completing both strength and endurance training workouts during the same session or within hours of one another. So endurance exercise is helped to drive your aerobic adaptations, while strength exercise helps to drive the muscle fibers adaptations. Starting off to introduce you to the strength and endurance training. Firstly, strength training. Strength training is a resistant exercise that helps to build strength. So the muscles will have to contract against an external resistance to increase in the muscle strength, tone, so on and so forth. Some of the examples includes free weights and your own body weight. So there are many benefits of strength training, such as improving your muscle strength and tone, improving your mobility and balance, improving your posture, and improving your bone density and strength to help to slow down bone loss and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. Next, endurance training. Endurance training is also known as aerobic training, which is typically performed at sub-maximum intensity. So you won't feel that you are catching your breath very hard after you do your exercise. But aerobic training also helps to increase your breathing and your heart rate. So it's characterized by the repeated isotonic contractions of your large skeletal muscle groups. And the goal is to increase your maximum oxygen intake and your blood lactate threshold so that your muscles can be tolerated to perform at a higher level for a longer period of time. And there are also many benefits of endurance training, such as improved metabolism and also reduced all-cause and the cardiovascular mortality. Some examples include walking, jogging, swimming, and cycling. So next, applying strength training on the endurance athletes. So is strength training important for them? Yes, because strength training can help to enhance endurance, but the volume of the training plays a very large role in the endurance adaptation. So strength training can lead to enhanced long-term and short-term endurance capacity, but the physiological responses of the athletes and also the training program variables play a large role in the degree of adaptation. So strength training actually induces many changes in your body. First one is changing the type and also the size of muscle fibers. So with strength training, there's an increase in the size of the type 2A muscle fibers, which increases their oxidative capacity levels equals to type 1A. And type 1A is actually a muscle fiber that is very well suited for endurance activities. So this also increases the tolerance towards muscle fatigue. Secondly, also changes in the mitochondrial density in the muscle fibers. So strength training that is performed with slow and tonic contraction phase, which is connected to fatigue, has been reported to increase the synthesis of mitochondria in the muscle fibers. Okay, next up, applying endurance training on the strength athletes. Okay, so the mode of endurance training is a determinant influencing interference, because the mode of endurance training really influence and also interfere with the outcome of the training. So overall power may be more susceptible to decrements rather than strength or hypertrophy. Okay, this may result from either the impairments in velocity or the rate of force development. So therefore, if your sport requires maximum power, so you should limit your concurrent training for strength and endurance only. But if your sport is dependent on the maximum strength and hypertrophy, concurrent training will not lead to significant decrements, given that the way and the mode of endurance training is a proper one. Okay, so this graph actually shows the effects of the numbers of days per week of endurance training, to the hypertrophy, strength, and the power of an athlete. So it can be seen that the optimum number of days of endurance training for them is actually about 1 to 2 days. So as the number of days of training increases, the hypertrophy, strength, and power actually decreases. And the most substantial effect is actually on hypertrophy when you perform 4 days per week of endurance training. Okay. So For athletes, remember to select endurance activity that is performed at high intensity so that it will result in lower decrements. Okay, so it really requires you practical implementation on how you arrange your workouts. And remember that your strength activity always comes first, then you take endurance sessions that should be placed 6 hours apart. Okay, and also the endurance training must be set at sub-maximum intensity. So going on to the effects of concurrent training. Okay, so this graph shows the overall effect, okay, for strength, endurance, and concurrent training, which is basically focusing on the lower body hypertrophy, strength, power, VO2 max, and body fat. And from the graph, we can actually see that the changes in the body fat and the VO2 max is actually very substantial. Okay, while the rest, the other effects of concurrent training, they are rather in the middle of the effects of strength and endurance training. Okay, so strength training will decrease endurance training performance only without sufficient recovery due to many reasons, okay, such as your increased muscle soreness and also your impaired neural recruitment pattern. So you're unable to recruit muscle fibers, okay? So always remember to rest for at least 3 hours between different types of training. So this is more for elite and sub-elite athletes, but if you are general public, okay, always give your body about 12 to 72 hours of rest, okay, for maximal results. And also, very important thing is that the volume, intensity, and the frequency of your training all play a role in influencing the effect of your concurrent training. Okay, moving on to the frequency of concurrent training. Okay, always remember that sequencing and the order of your training are very important factors that influence the effect of the training. And the sequencing and order actually really depends on your training goal and how will you go about doing your training. Okay, so when you want to combine a high or low intensity strength training with a low to moderate intensity run, you need at least 6 hours of rest in between. But if both strength and endurance are all high intensity, then you place them on alternate days. Okay, it has been shown that a low frequency approach to concurrent training is actually appropriate when you want to improve in your strength. Okay, so a study has actually found that when your training frequency is low, okay, regardless whether is it of short term or long term, strength has shown to increase at a rate similar to that of strength training alone. Always remember that the frequency of concurrent training depends on the training goal. So if your goal is to improve your strength, so strength training comes first. And for example, like a run after strength training must be short and low in intensity in the basic endurance zone. But if your goal is to improve endurance, then endurance training will come first. Okay, moving on to concurrent training for the general health. Okay, so endurance training, also known as aerobic training, is a priority, okay, among all sorts of training because of its positive impact on the cardiorespiratory fitness and also the body composition. So do not only emphasize purely on aerobic training. Always remember that strength exercises can lead to locomotion, movements, and also doing tasks in lives easier. Okay, so concurrent training can help to induce the cardiorespiratory and also the muscular adaptations. Okay, and also CT will also bring more benefits with effect to the body. Okay, so concurrent training helps to improve your body composition, such as decreasing the body fat, and also help to enhance your muscles and bone fitness, and also which prevents abnormality and malalignments. So this helps to increase your efficiency and also have a greater health and fitness achievements. So help to increase the quality of life. Okay, last but not least, applying to concurrent training to the general health so that you would know how to apply CT to your normal training schedules. So besides endurance activity, one should always engage in the strength training for 2 or more days per week. So always remember that you must have a training goal in mind so that you can properly make out a training schedule. So if you want to focus more on cardiorespiratory fitness, then always place the aerobic training to be the first program in all training. But always remember that you still have to perform strength training activities on either the same day or different days that endurance activity is done. Now to the conclusion. So in conclusion, For athletes, there are actually many factors to consider when doing CT, such as volume, intensity, frequency, and also the training goal. So the training will only be effective if it's well planned, organized, and following your goal. So for general health, it's very important to do concurrent training because it helps to maintain the physical health and so the quality of life. So if you are a strength athlete, I would suggest that you do more strength than endurance. So I'll place 3 endurance and also the rest will all be strength. And you have a rest day on Sunday so that you can recuperate and also continue your 6 days training. And if you are endurance athlete, then the strength and endurance frequency will then be inverted. And similarly, you have a rest day on Sunday to help you to recuperate. But if you're just aiming at improving your general well-being, then you'll be more of the relaxing type that you will have rest, okay, either in the morning or the afternoon. And during Sundays, you will have easy walk with your family so that you can help to induce family time as well. So coaches can always incorporate strength training for individuals, okay, attempting to primarily increase the endurance performance without a fear of interfering with their aerobic capacity. And with that, thank you for your attention, and I hope that you will have a clearer idea on concurrent training after today's presentation. Thank you.